So I'm here with Dr. Starr at Paws and Hooves Medical Center. What made you decide to become a vet?
I wanted to be a vet since I was a baby. I always had animals. I loved animals. I started volunteering at vet clinics when I was 10 years old because I knew that in order to get into vet school, you have to have experience. So I always wanted to be a vet.
So you went to NMSU, correct?
Yep, I went to NMSU for undergrad.
And your bachelor's degree?
It was in animal science.
So did you know exactly which veterinary school you wanted to go to, or?
I actually wanted to go to Colorado State because my grandfather and my great-grandfather had both gone there for vet school. But I applied to Colorado State, Oregon State, and Washington State because I was with WICHE. And there's only certain schools that WICHE accepts. WICHE is a program, because New Mexico doesn't have a vet school in their state, there are certain schools in the western U.S. that accept the WICHE program, so you get to go to those schools and pay in-state tuition.
And then after graduation from veterinary school, did you know exactly what to do, or did you go with another veterinary clinic?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to stay in the western U.S., and at that time I wanted to work with cattle only. So I actually got a job in Wyoming and worked with mostly cattle, a lot of horses, and then a little bit of small animal. Some pigs. They have big pig plants up there too. So I did that for about 3.5 years, and then I joined the military. And I came down here with the military.
You were stationed here at Fort Bliss for a while, and you had opened up a mobile vet clinic there?
So basically, while I was stationed at Fort Bliss, the veterinarians do a lot of different things. We take care of the military dogs, airport security dogs, all the customs dogs. At that time, they still had a horse stables out at Biggs, but they don't anymore. So we took care of the horses, and then the military personnel's pets. And in the clinic, they have very low prices because it's military. And so I was able to see that people were able to do more for their pets because of the low prices. And so when I got out of the military, that's when I started the mobile. And I basically took all the prices the exact same as Fort Bliss, and that's what we did.
Your clients suggested for you to open in the west side, or how did you choose this location?
Actually, we didn't start with this clinic. So this clinic was much later. And with the mobile clinic, we went all over. We went to Horizon, Clint, the Lower Valley, Northeast, East Side over on Zaragoza, and then we have one Canutillo location. So we actually went all over so that we could service everybody.
How many hours do you put in, I guess, in a week? I know it's like full time.
Me personally?
Yes, I know.
Me personally, I usually, depending, I'm a little bit less right now, but for a long time, for the most part, it was about 75, 80 hours a week.
With emergency calls and everything. You schedule surgeries here prior in advance, or what if it's an emergency?
Yeah, we take them if it's emergency.
Okay, so it's most severe coming first.
Yeah, we have scheduled surgeries, and then if we have an emergency come in, then that takes priority.
You do dental for horses as well?
Yeah.
Do you have to have specialized training for that? Further in your veterinary school?
Yes and no. So there are specialties in vet school that you can do. And you can do like an internship, which is 1 year, or you can do a residency, which is 3 years. So just like in the medical field, in the human field. For the dentals, I took a 4-day course.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I keep up with my continuing education.
Do you travel to meetings for veterinarians where you discuss, the new technologies and everything?
Yeah, by law, we have to, for each state has their own regulation as to how many hours of continuing education you need each year to keep your license. And then, we usually travel to more than that.
But do a lot with your clients as well.
The biggest, I think, difficulty with the clients is they don't understand how expensive it is to treat. So even though, for example, our clinic is a low-cost clinic, we try to keep prices as low as possible. Things are expensive. Staff is expensive, medication is expensive, and for example, sometimes people have to wait in the lobby. Like you said, if there's an emergency come in, the emergency takes priority, and so sometimes people have to wait, and so they get frustrated. And I can understand that, but it's also hard on our side because we're trying to be the very best for every animal that comes in, and we try to keep prices low, but they get expensive, yeah.
That also includes the mobile vet clinic. You have to
Mhm.
calculate gas and
Exactly.
those things.
Yeah.
As for marketing, what kind of you do online marketing? You have promotions like coupons on your website. Participate in events around the El Paso area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try and do as many events as we can. When we can take the mobile, we do. So, for example, a couple weeks ago, I was at the Dachshund race down at St. Luke's, and I was there with the mobile clinic. Obviously, sometimes we can't because the mobile is set up, to service people, and we try to stick to our locations. So sometimes we just do a booth. But yeah, we do as many events as possible. We put flyers around. I used to have an editorial in the newspaper where every month I would write up information, for clients. That gets really expensive though.
So, do you recommend that preventative measures are the best time?
Definitely, yeah.
Regular checkups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do a video tip of the week. So every week I do a video tip, and it's on something regarding medicine. So sometimes it's just things to watch out for. Like today, I did one for Halloween coming up. So things to watch out for with Halloween. Yeah, choking, chocolate, all those things. Sometimes it's talking about preventative medicine. So definitely preventative medicine is so much more important. Because like, for example, parvo right now. Parvo is huge. It's going around town really bad. And it can cost up to $2,000 to treat your dog for parvo. Whereas it costs $9 to vaccinate it, so it's just, it's really important.
What are your favorite kinds of surgeries?
I love surgery. I love surgery regardless. I like all of it. A favorite one? Exploratories basically means that we go into the abdomen to explore and see what we find. It could be maybe they swallowed, we had a dog that swallowed a cork, like a wine bottle cork, and it was stuck. I had a cat that swallowed a pecan whole with the shell and everything, and it got stuck. I had a dog, a Labrador, that swallowed, those little, well, not little, the things that you scrape the grill with, and it has all those metal bristles. They swallowed that whole, and all the metal bristles were sticking out through the intestine. So those are pretty challenging. Yeah, sometimes we find tumors in there, So basically, we just go in and explore and try and find what's wrong with the dog.
You also do mobile vet clinic calls as well.
Yeah.
Well, around which area do you mainly go to, or
every place? Yeah, last week I was in Van Horn, which is like 2 hours away.
Yes.
I was in Sierra Blanca. We go up to Doñana, Columbus, all over the place.
And these farm calls, are they mainly horses, cattle, sheep, or a variety of
everything? Yeah, mostly horses. But for example, in Van Horn, I was seeing cattle. Last week we did one on the west side that was goats and sheep and a donkey. We do house calls for dogs and cats. So everything. Mm-hmm.
So have you had clients bring their horses here before?
Yeah, we have the empty lot next door. And so sometimes they'll bring the horses there and we'll work on them there. Or I have a farm, and so they don't have to pay a farm call fee if they want to take them to my farm, and we'll do the services. So sometimes we do like full days at the farm and we just have lots of people bring them. And sometimes they bring them to the mobile clinic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've treated lots of horses outside the mobile clinic.
Every single horse is different. How do you approach your clients' animals? Do you ask them first what their horse's habits are, or do you or do you know how to read a horse? Yeah,
usually you know how to read them. So obviously there's some clients that I've worked with them for years, so I already know how they are. I always, you always approach a horse calmly and quietly and carefully and see how they react to you. You always approach them at their front shoulder. You don't want to be right in front of them. You don't want to be obviously in the back. And sometimes if I'm going to draw blood or vaccinate, I'll say, how do they take to the needle, just to see. But usually you just kind of read them. You can tell.
So what happens if you have a farm call and someone tells you their horse has an umbilical hernia and it's quite large? How do you take care of that?
Umbilical hernias on horses, some are surgical, some will resolve. So it depends on the age and how it is. We can try, if they're pretty young and it's not too big, we can try banding it. So we put like a belly band and we cut off the circulation of the skin to kind of form a scar. Otherwise, they have to be done surgically, and we can't do that out in the field. So we do big surgeries at my house. We can't do certain really big surgeries like colic surgeries. We don't have the facilities, so we refer those.
I see. And where would the closest facility be for such a surgery as that?
It depends on exactly what type, but Dr. Jensen has a facility across from the racetrack, and he can do colic surgeries and some orthopedics and stuff.
Do you also treat some of the racehorses, be it at hand in their events, or can they book you for events in case of?
Yeah, not with the racetrack. The racetrack has their own vets, and they have vets that are always there, and they've always been there. And so I don't work the track, but I have several clients that have racehorses, so I'll go to their houses and work with their horses. As far as events, yeah, I have a lot of clients that book us for events, like the Paint Horse Association. Sometimes there's shows or gymkhanas that they need things at, so I'll go to them.
What was your first pet? Just out of curiosity.
Oh wow, I had pets since I was tiny, so I probably don't remember my first one. When I was, a little tiny kid, we had rabbits and cats and things like that. But like the first pet that was mine was a dog.
Do you have to take a test to renew your license, or?
Not so much a test. So when we first graduate from vet school, yes, we have to take a national test. If we pass the national test, then each state has their test to get your license.
Okay.
Once you get your license, then you just have to show that you keep up with the continuing education hours that are required, and you fill out an application and stuff. Sometimes they'll do a review. They'll make you show certain things, or some maybe this never happened to me luckily, but maybe a client complains and they take it to the state board. Then the state board may have a review panel. But no, we don't have to take tests every year, just the first test.
I see. So then, do you have multiple tests, or do you just practice in Texas, or?
No, I'm licensed in Texas and New Mexico, Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming.
Do you miss working with cattle, or?
Yeah, it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. It's hard on the body.
That's what I hear for large animal vets. They have higher rate injuries. So.
Oh yeah, I've had my shoulder dislocated, my nose broken, my finger broken, cuts, bites. I've got some scars and stuff, and
they bite?
Well, no, the scars are from the dogs.
Oh.
I've had several dog bites, but no, my shoulder dislocated was from a horse, and my nose and my finger at different times were from cattle.
How do you feel about women veterinarians and men veterinarians?
I think that now there's actually more women vets than there are male vets. So people are getting, especially in the farm area, people are getting a lot more used to female vets. And I've known lots of really small female vets that do just fine. So there's things that you can do to get around the strength aspect. For example, when I was interviewing to find my first job, one of the places I interviewed at was a vet clinic in South Dakota, and it was a husband-wife team. They were both vets, and the husband was like 6 foot something, and the wife was like you, very tiny, and they both worked cattle, and they rigged up because we have to do a lot of C-sections on cattle, and I actually have a couple of herniated discs in my back from pulling a calf out, because they're like 105 pounds, and you're pulling them like this. And so what they actually rigged out, because the wife was very small, was they had a pulley system, and they would just flip a switch and it would pull it out. So there's lots of things you can do, but I think definitely size isn't an issue.
Perfect.
Yeah. Or you can get a technician that's a huge... I mean, I had a technician that was a female, but she was taller than me, and it was great, because she helped a lot with the horses. So I think it doesn't really matter the sex. I think it matters your ambition and your willingness to not be afraid. Your determination, totally. Yeah, like I'm not afraid of anything, so I'll go in and deal with whatever. And it doesn't matter that I'm short.
your degree is in exotic animals, or?
No, when you graduate vet school, you're supposed to be able to know everything.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah. So like we actually had a cup that like the students would sell at our vet school that said a DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, is the same as an MD, except we work with more than one species.
Well, thank you very much for
Yeah, you're welcome.
having this interview with me.
Sure, no problem.